All right, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another deck profile. Today we are going to do one of my favorite archetypes, if you will, the blue hybrid. And this blue hybrid is mainly blue. There's a few white cards in there, but like it's not an expensive version. You don't need the Ukkomons and all of that stuff. And this is a really fun build. I don't believe it's going to be like the best version of it, but I think it's like something that a lot of people would have a lot of fun with. The babies are pretty standard. The one jamming Buka, which is kind of obligatory. You need to run that guy. Four of the Wanyamon, the draw when attacking with a Tamer Wanyamon. That draw is actually even more important with the blue hybrid because you do get a few triggers of the Ancientgarurumon with that potentially, as well as in several other ways. So you are drawing a lot of cards in this build, which is really cool. So four of the new Strabimon. You probably want to Digivolve, but you definitely could use it to search, especially if you have too many rookies in your hand, for example. But there's not a lot of rookies. However, there is four of the inheritable gain one memory Gomamon. We are going to run some level 4s that just straight up Digivolve on the rookies. And we kind of want them to die to get deleted so that gain one memory could actually end up being super useful. And I'll talk more about that in just a second because these have been a staple for my blue hybrid builds for some time now. A lot of people probably wouldn't run this Gomamon anymore, but I love having it out there as a minefield that if you kill it, you gain that one memory. One of the Strabimon with the 4-drop, which is when attacking, if you have a hybrid or 10 warriors, you gain one memory. That one memory can come in handy sometimes. Plus, he's a hybrid, so he gets to count for that. And that's 9 of the blue rookies that can just straight up Digivolve. It's not a lot. We do run 2 of the Searcher Pokemon. These guys do work in hybrid decks. But again, once again, red hybrid didn't used to do them, but for blue hybrid, they actually end up doing really well. Your opponent's gonna have to basically try to deal with them quickly. I only run 2. Some people are running more. 4, I would say, is probably too many because there's a lot of Crimson Blazes. I definitely don't want to be a target from Crimson Blazes that often. So my rookies don't just get out there. We don't Ukko, we don't Buko. I think Digimon Emperor gets a lot of boost if you keep doing that, so I don't do that. We run the obligatory 4 Lobomon as well as the 4 Kendo Garurumon. These cards are just the combo. They're the combo for this deck. They did you all for Kojis. They're both blue and yellow, which is important. And if you're not aware, the combo is basically that you have your Koji, you turn it into a Kendo Garurumon. You definitely want to get that draw off. When attacking, you can Digivolve for 1 cheaper, and then you can go into Lobomon, which costs 1. So with that effect, it would just be 0. You get to stack them. Then Lobomon, when Digivolving, if Kengarurumon is in the Digivolutions, and you have a Tamer, you can go into Ancientgarurumon for a cost of 3, ignoring the Digivolution requirements. You get to skip your level 5. So this is actually a pretty nice combo because that means that you don't really need your level 5 if you can pull it off, but you need both cards, which is kind of tough to do if you're only running these cards, but in this build, it's not the most important thing to do. And it does get deleted at the end of the turn, which is actually solid for everything that it's going to do in the combo. But yeah, you want to run these guys. They are hybrids of the Kojis, as well as they can Digivolve off of blue Tamers, which is going to be important in a little bit. Some guys go with full blue Tamers in their... I'm sorry, blue Kojis and yellow Tamers in their build. I'm not doing that specifically. We run 3 Lanamons. This is a blue hybrid. That can go off the Kojis or some of the blue Tamers that we'll talk about, as well as, of course, your rookies. They are Lanamon is pretty cool. What I end up doing sometimes is that I'll have Wanyamon with a Gomamon. We'll go into Lanamon, maybe put another Gomamon, right? Not necessarily. It could also be one of the Strabbies. Either way, Lanamon swings jamming potentially. And if he's out there, he's got the Gomamon or 1 or 2, your opponent killing it is not a good idea because they might pass turn trying to kill it. So it kind of threatens your opponent's passing turn, as well as having its jamming attack. Of course, being a blue hybrid is really nice. All of those things work out really well for it. Next, we do run 4 of the Leomon, which when there's a blue tamer out there, gains blocker, as well as on deletion, you gain 2 memory and draw 1. Again, comboing with the Gomamon, if deleted, you actually get 3 memory That you draw the one, which can trigger your Ancientgarurumon effect. If you, for example, have Ancientgarurumon out already and you have a Gomamon ready to go, you go Leomon, swing. If it dies, you gain 3 memory, and you draw your card, triggering your Ancientgarurumon effect to send your opponent's security to their hand. And then of course you have 3 memory to play with. If you have tamers, you can hybrid. Again, if you have the memory, it's a really cool combo, really threatening. People do not like it. They'd rather try to de-digivolve, which is not a strategy that people try to do against like a blue hybrid build like this. I run 2 level 5 Pseudomon. There's not a lot of removal just naturally in blue. Pseudomon's really doing work here. You can ace on top of any of your blue cards, which is really nice, of course, and send back a card to your opponent's hand. Of course, stripping sources is also pretty good. Pseudomon does work. It just needs to be on there. It's just really good. It acts kind of like an option as well as a Digimon. Sometimes just putting down for play cost at the beginning is really nice. I run 1 Shakuomon DNA Digivolution. This is a recovery. We have yellow, we have blue. They can combo into Shakuomon for a recovery, as well as bottom decking if needed. Another card that actually kind of is a nice tech in this. One that I really love is Magna Angemon Ace. There's not a lot of rookies, and let's say you don't want to pay that much for a tamer. You could just hard drop Magna Anja and be at 1 security ahead of your opponent, which is really nice. Not only that, but you could also threaten to digivolve Ancient Garuru into Magna Anja, because Ancient Garuru can digivolve off of yellow. Obviously, Ancient Garuru can digivolve off of any of these, but Magna Angemon just does so much work, DP reduction, all of that stuff. Jet Sylphimon. If you didn't notice, your Kendo Garurumon, which is when attacking can digivolve for 1 cheaper, can just go into Jet Sylphy if you have a tamer under it. Of course, Jet Sylphy will be digivolving for 1, which is going to turn into 0, and Jet Sylphy will recover, and you will check. And this is a really good card in this deck. If you're running Kendos and Lobos, you should be running a Jet. We are limited to 1, so if it was more, we definitely do more than that. 1 Beowulf, to be honest, probably don't need it. You can kind of warp into Beowulf if you really need to. He's a level 5 blue and yellow, but there are other blue and yellow options that you can go on top of Ancient Garuru. Plus, Ancient Garuru can just kind of cross anyway. When digivolving, by returning 1 card with the hybrid trait from your Digimon's Digivolution cards, if your opponent's Digimon or Tamer can suspend. So this is kind of a stun on your opponent. It's not super great, but you know, it kind of works in the theme. It's not the best card. I think you could definitely easily replace this with other cards that do more work. Right now, I only have 3 Ancient Garurumon, and all 3 of them are in the deck. I would definitely feel that the 4th one is required here. So this Ancient Garurumon is, of course, your boss monster. It can digivolve for 4 from either yellow or blue. If you can go, of course, warp into it from the Kendo Lobo combo, it is really nice. It sends a card back to your opponent's hand, the lowest level, of course. So if your opponent has a bunch of cards, protecting their stronger ones, that's the only time where you get a little bit like a difficulty. So you want to be able to have like the small bounces, like the Shack and the Pseudo, and the Magna to help deal with that. You can also cross into it with the Lobo and the Kendo. With all these cards that you're drawing, you will likely have Lobo and Kendo. The Digivolution is just as good too, though. Form of 4, if you just hard drop a level 5 or DNA into a level 5. Jet, of course. These is really great balanced card. Probably my favorite card of the deck is Ancient Garuru. And again, I would probably run 4 if I had them, but I do not, so it is not going to do that. Next, I run 1 Valkyrie. Sometimes you got to deal with a bit of a wide board, like a Numemon type of thing, that type of stuff. Things where like a Crimson Blaze would be good. Valkyrie can go off of any of the yellow level 5s, which is really nice. Or you could just hard drop for 7, and DP reduce your opponent's whole board. I think she's not super required, but she's a really nice tech to have in the deck to go ahead and like do massive DP reduction to your opponent. It's just really, really nice to have as an option, especially with not much else removal going on with the deck. Like the bounce is fine. This is bounce, bounce, bounce. Bounce is your only option. If you can't be bounced, DP reduction is an alternative that works really well. Valkyrie works really well for that, and having the yellows, of course, is really good. You could also potentially, that's not my build, but you could potentially turn these pseudos into all yellow, have all yellow, and have multiple Valkyries. That would actually be super cool and super destructive against your opponent. But that's just not my build. Next, we have 4 and 4 of the Kojis. We run 4 of the older Koji. We run 4 of the newer Koji. Koji is just the one card that does everything for you. You digivolve either the Kendo or the Lobo on it. You get to be unblocked. You get to gain the 1 memory, or you get to gain jamming depending on which Koji you have. So the memory gains solid. The jamming can't be blocked is solid. All of those things are really nice to have. With this, we run 1 Zoe. Zoe will pick up a card from your security if it's a hybrid, or 10 warriors. If you have an ancient on there, especially with me only running 3, I would definitely want to pick it up with the Zoe. On top of that, if you already have an ancient out on the board and use Zoe, that card, if you have a hybrid and you send it to your hand, that counts to trigger your ancient, and it will send your opponent's top security to their hand, which is pretty solid. She only drops for 3, which is really nice. Most of these cards are dropping for 4. Or doing a lot with a lot of memory. Yeah, super solid with Zoe. Of course, yellow can go into either of the Lobo or the Kendo, but not the Lana. So you gotta be careful. But the good thing is the Lana can just go into one of the rookies or whatnot. Next, 2 Jerry. There are Leomons in here, so the combo with the Jerry and Leo is pretty solid. There are some situations that will just play a hybrid for you. And if you happen to have a Leomon and Jerry, that could save you the game. That could make you drop a Jerry, drop Leo simultaneously. And then the next turn you threaten hybrid off the Lanamon if you have it, which is really cool. Of course, Leomon himself can also block for you. All of those things. Jerry's solid combo. I was running more before, but I think 2's has been pretty good. 2 has been pretty good because it's not a lot of teamers. Run 1 Digimon Emperor. Until Ukkomon gets restricted, Emperor is kind of a solid pick. It also makes it so if you destroy your opponent's level 5, you can draw a card. Another thing that can trigger your Ancientgarurumon on your turn. Pretty solid card in this build. I like it a lot. Ancient Guardian Deity, if you don't know what it does. You may return 1 Digimon card with a hybrid or 10 warriors from your hand to your trash. Then you may play 1 Digimon with the 10 warriors, or 1 Tamer card with the play cost reduced by 4. That's really good. It can make an Ancientgarurumon be really cheap. You can bring back your Jet Sylphie from your trash, for example. You can play a Tamer for free if it's any of the Kojis. That's definitely going to happen. You could also... it has to have inherited, so Jerry won't be able to play off of it. But you could reduce your Ancientgarurumon and cross it and make it extra cheap. I believe it drops for 2 eventually. And this is only costing you 2. So playing a Tamer, one of those expensive Tamers for only 2, is really, really nice to get this out there. So one of these guys. And then the last spot is saved for a Hammer Spark. I just really love Hammer Spark. Hammer Spark's really good. But this could be any card like that. You can run Kakaida's Breath, Sorai, Ice Wall. I just really like the versatility that Hammer Spark gives me. Yeah, so that's the deck. Let me know what you guys think would be a good change for it, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.